We have weapons in space that's aiming directly back at Earth.
Now to the chaos and alarm on Capitol Hill today after cryptic words over Russia and a potential nuclear threat in space.
Most people look at space and see adventure, exploration, the unknown, a realization that we are nothing but a speck in the grand scheme of things. But we aren't dumb, and we know that there are people that look at space and sees it as an advantage for war. And especially after these recent reports have surfaced, raising alarms over Russia's ambitious move, the development of a space-based weapon armed with a damn nuclear warhead.
Russian nukes in space. Multiple sources are telling CNN tonight that the U.S. has new intelligence on Russia's efforts to deploy a nuclear anti-satellite system in space.
What does the future of space really hold for us? What type of weapons in space are currently in use right now? How long will it take for us to start seeing conflict between our armies in space? That's what we're going to be covering today, guys. So thanks for joining me as we try to get a grasp on what to expect from a war in space. Let's start.
Tell you that we are so dominant in space that I pity a country that would come up against us. The synergy with air, land, and sea forces and our ability to control the battle space and seize the high ground is devastating.
We're going to reel 38 ASAT position.
With Russia, their nuclear-armed satellite weapon, shrouded in secrecy, is believed to be designed to target and disable satellites, the sensitive source of our planet's weather forecasting, communication, and navigation systems. A move like this not only changes the whole outlook of space warfare, but this also teeters on the brink of violating the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which is supposed to stand as a regulator of sorts against the militarization of space by not allowing the placement of nuclear weapons up there. So them doing this, Russia, this is pretty much a clear violation of this treaty.
Russian nukes in space. Multiple sources are telling CNN tonight that the U.S. has new intelligence on Russia's efforts to deploy a nuclear anti-satellite system in space. So this actually comes after the House Intelligence Committee Chair Mike Turner today raised the alarm. He announced he's made information concerning a, quote, serious national security threat available to all members of Congress to review. Now keep in mind, if nukes were launched at the U.S. from space, they would be undetectable. And this news gives ominous context to the fact that one of Putin's mouthpieces floated this very idea on Russian state television 9 months ago, as found by Russian media analyst Julia Davis.
I think it's time to turn up the heat. We understand that all drones and everything else work for Americans only while Starlink exists. So if we carefully launch our nukes in space, there will be no Starlink left.
People be about this intelligence?
Well, I worry all the time about Vladimir Putin. I think we got to be concerned about the tyrants of the world being on the march. This is one more thing to worry about in terms of Vladimir Putin and his attack on democracy and freedom.
Man, what's the point of treaties if anyone can just decide to break it, as long as they have enough people that'll follow their orders? Though the exact nature and capabilities of this Russian weapon apparently remains a bit uncertain. See, the experts are divided. Some suggest it could be a nuclear-powered electronic satellite device, while others, aka the rest of us, call it as we see it. If it quacks like a duck, this is the damn nuclear warhead in orbit, hovering above our heads. You guys realize this? This whole ordeal has sparked a global discussion on space militarization and the deployment of advanced weapon systems from above. The international community, led by the United States, has definitely voiced their concerns about the repercussions of such a dangerous move. The idea and thought of space-based nuclear weapons introduces a new and complicated layer of geopolitical tension. So it seems, as we get deeper into the 21st century, space is gonna become more than just a frontier for exploration, if that even happens at all. but as a domain of strategic advantage, where the world's global powers get to display their might and technological prowess against the rest of the world. If you control space, you control the world, hence the reason for the initial space race. We all know the importance of satellites, weather forecasting, GPS, reconnaissance, etc. But I want to try to make you guys understand what's already over our head right now, or currently in the works. From anti-satellite missile capabilities of disrupting and destroying satellites, to directed energy weapons that harness lasers, microwaves, and even particle beams. Futuristic weapons including chemical lasers that mix chemicals to create a devastating beam. Particle beams that fire subatomic particles at damn near the speed of light. And hypersonic missiles flying faster than Mach 5. Weapons like these are absolutely redefining warfare. And these advanced technologies are part of an ongoing effort by nations to maintain military superiority in space and protect their national interests, and of course to project their nation's power across the globe. The United States, Russia, China, and India are at the forefront of this type of shit, having developed or demonstrated capabilities across multiple categories of weapons that are currently involved with space. See, space weapons can be categorized most of the times into three main types. Space-to-earth weapons. These are used in space warfare and can attack space systems in orbit. Example would be like an anti-satellite weapon, and it attack targets on Earth from space, or disable missiles traveling through space. Space-to-space weapons. This category includes systems designed to intercept or destroy other satellites or space-based assets. Earth-to-space weapons. These are anti-satellite weapons, primarily surface-to-space and air-to-space missiles. Earth-to-space weapons. These are anti-satellite weapons, primarily surface-to-space and air-to-space missiles, also developed by various countries. Some of the most advanced space weapons currently in development include chemical lasers. These are being developed for either space-based or ground-based weapons. They involve the mixing of chemicals inside the weapon to create a laser beam. Particle beams, another type of space weapon under development which would be able to fire beams of subatomic particles at damn near the speed of light at a military target, essentially freezing the targeted object. The development of the particle beam weapons has been a bit more secretive, with fewer specifics available about named projects. These nations possess kinetic and non-kinetic systems for a variety of purposes, with the ability of attacking space systems in orbit, all the way to targeting objects on Earth. The concept known as rods from God, or Project Thor, refers to a hypothetical weapon involving kinetic energy projectiles from space.
A rod touches down 8 times faster than a bullet, and with a force significantly greater than a nuclear warhead.
Refers to a hypothetical weapon involving kinetic energy projectiles from space. Is part of a broader idea known as kinetic bombardment or kinetic orbital strike. This concept involves dropping heavy tungsten rods from orbit onto a target on the Earth's surface. Madness, relying purely on the kinetic energy from the high-speed impact to destroy the target rather than using explosives. This idea can be traced back to the Cold War era, but it was popularized and more seriously considered during the Strategic Defensive Initiative period in the 1980s under President Ronald Reagan. The concept itself is supposedly in the works, but a project like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they released this in secret as well and it's actually up there. But damn, the actual damage caused by a kinetic bombardment system like rods from God will be catastrophic. The rods, often described as being made from tungsten and about 20 feet long and 1 foot in diameter, would reach hypersonic speeds as they re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. The impact would be equivalent to a large conventional bomb, delivering a massive shockwave and penetrating deep underground, potentially destroying hardened bunkers and facilities. They're saying that these rods can hit over 100 targets at the same damn time, all hitting its target within minutes of it being launched. And unlike nuclear weapons, kinetic bombardment would not generate radioactive fallout, making it a cleaner option to the environment for striking high-value targets. But the actual destructive impact from one of these rods is said to be on par with a nuke. That's insane to me. The United States is not innocent in this at all either. The Outer Space Treaty that forbade the use of nuclear weapons in space was just for nuclear weapons. And these rods from God have no fallout, just raw damage. So it technically slips by the rules set in place by the treaty. And throughout the years when nations attempted to renew the treaty to have more limitations, and the United States said fuck that, they blocked it every time. Rods of God, Project Door, falling hunks of tungsten metal. It's like raining an asteroid down on your enemy. The development and potential deployment of these space weapons have understandably raised concerns about the militarization of space and its impact on international security and stability. The pursuit of space weapons has the potential to affect global stability, man, and could lead to a new dimension of conflict, space conflict, with repercussions for all spacefaring nations regardless of their own space capabilities. If you're not able to go to space, you wouldn't even be able to sit at the table. The threat of space warfare is real. These people must see space as a new land that hasn't been taken or conquered yet. One with resources to be exploited, and they're in a race to take it all over while using us as their damn sword to do so. And I promise these other governments are doing the same, spreading fear amongst their own people about being attacked by their enemies so they can get the funding and support to build space weapons. In the United States case, a Space Force as well. The United States Space Force plays a crucial role in preparing for potential conflicts in space, while also aiming to protect and preserve the space environment. And as the newest branch of the US military, the Space Force is responsible for consolidating and managing various space-related capabilities, including satellite operations, space surveillance, and space launch operations. It is tasked with ensuring that the United States and its allies have unhindered access to space for both civilian and military purposes, and maintaining space superiority, something that other countries are sure not to like and will probably fight to make sure they are the dominant one in space. What are we planning to do? What are we preparing for? Did the creation of this force have anything to do with the reveal that the government has been hiding the existence of aliens and UFOs? That it was all a ploy just to play in our fears and get the funding for a defensive military force in space? We will have to wait and see. But there is hope. International efforts to regulate weapons in space and establish rules of engagement are underway, as they have been for years. The United Nations, along with various space agencies and non-governmental agencies, are working to prevent an arms race in space, advocating for a future where the cosmos remains a peaceful frontier for all humanity. A war in space would not only have direct, immediate impacts on satellite infrastructure, leading to significant disruptions in communication, navigation, and observation, but it would also have long-term effects on global security, the economy, the environment, and it'll even affect our overall ability to operate and explore in space. This won't be good for anyone. Well, the only people who may benefit at first will be the ones who are profiting and leading us straight into more conflicts like this. Most of us are trying to just live and relax. We're trying to chill, but they never fix the problems of their own nations, these leaders. They do everything to keep us poor and hungry, hating one another, fearing one another, making us more susceptible to joining their militaries to fight for them, just so we can feed our families and get out of our slump with a paycheck and benefits. I'm a veteran, man, so that's why I feel this way, honestly. Defending your land, home, and loved ones is one of the best ways for a man to go, but only in defense, not offense. Projecting your power to space should be for exploration and the benefit of all. Aim that shit at some asteroids or something. How much more money could these fools possibly want? They run nations but still want more. They have no attachment to this world, it seems. They arm weapons and nuclear warheads above us. I don't know, guys, it seems they'll never stop. They'll continue to use this as their sword and as their damn shield. Let me know what you guys think is about to happen in space and what we should prepare for, and the thoughts of weapons hovering above our heads in geocentric orbit. I don't like that. Leave your comments down below and I'll try to respond. It's Michael here, and be safe, everyone.
The word rule is commonly associated with oppression and arrogant actions. I look at it as a way of governing to keep people's unnecessary ambitions under control.